Men don't talk about cancer. It's not the manly thing to do. Well, I'm here to tell you it is the manly thing to do. Don't be dumb. Talk about it.
So, welcome to our prostate talk in honour of Men's Health Month. We've got Richard, who's very kindly going to talk us through our prostate talk. So I will pass over to you, Richard.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. I really appreciate the opportunity to get this message over. My name's Richard. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2010, and I knew nothing about the prostate. So it's been my task to spread awareness of what can happen to your prostate and how you can avoid the really bad parts of it. So I just want to carry on. So the first bit will be statistics. The other bit will be a bit of biology, and then I'll go on to some more important information. I'm an ambassador and trustee of a small cancer support group in Stockport, and I'm also a volunteer speaker with Prostate Cancer UK. So without further ado, let's carry on. Right, a few essential parts. This is where we start the statistics. In the UK, it's the most commonly diagnosed cancer in men. In 2018, 22,300 men were diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's 140 per day. Unfortunately, 12,000 of those men died from prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime. 1 in 4 if you're black. We don't know why, it's just one of those things. Family history also can increase your chances of getting prostate cancer by 2.5%, 2.5 times, unfortunately. The incidence rate rises sharply after the age of 50, which is very important to bear in mind going forward. 80%, this is important, 80% of men with early prostate cancer have no symptoms. So you've got to bear this in mind. So the 80% will not have symptoms. That's going to the toilet, urgency to wee, etc. Of the 20% that do have symptoms, 30% of those will have advanced prostate cancer, which is unfortunate because it's only 29% chance of survival over 5 years. So you can understand we want to catch this early. So early diagnosis means survival. As it happened to me, I was lucky enough to be diagnosed early, and I survived. So I'm here to spread the word. Next one, please. Unfortunately, there's no cancer screening test for prostate cancer. So you will not get a letter through the post. So what there is an indicator test, which is called a PSA test. You may have heard of this. It's a blood test, and it detects a protein that leaks into your blood from your prostate. It's measured in nanograms per milliliter. Normal PSA varies with age. It does increase with age, and we need to monitor this mainly over the men of 50. As I said, there is no screening, and the PSA test is not a diagnostic test. It's just an indicator, but it's an indicator of the health check on your prostate. So it's very important, and we recommend all men over the age of 50 to get tested on a yearly basis. There is a grey area. 75% of men with raised prostate cancer with PSA less than 10 nanograms per milliliter will not have cancer. But things are improving all the time. There's different ways of going towards a screening process, and and Prostate Cancer UK is very active in promoting this and doing research. So several things will raise the PSA. Prostatitis, which is an inflammation of the prostate, which is normally treated with antibiotics. Enlarged prostate, this is when men of a certain age it's normally an old man's problem, it constricts the urethra, and it presses on the bladder, and there's a tap or a valve in the bladder, and this presses on that, and this is why you want to go to the toilet all the time, or you may have incontinence in that respect. The other one is a urinary infection, UTI as women would call it, and the last one is cancer. The PSA test can show false negatives or positives, which is the problem at the moment, and we're trying to alleviate or understanding why there are these negatives and positives. What happens if you ride a bicycle before you go to have a blood test? Because you're riding on the saddle, you're riding on your prostate, and it stimulates the prostate and gives these false readings. And as I say, certain things can artificially raise the PSA level. As I say, cycling, extreme exercise can cause this problem. But a PSA test saved my life. Thank you.
Sorry, technical problem again. Just waiting for it to kick in.
That's all right.
There we go.
Can you press it to see if it? Yeah.
So it's just kicking in. So this is a video. If we can't get the video to start, we can always share it afterwards. I don't think it's going to.
Okay. I'll do a little talk on it then. Okay. Right. Errol was diagnosed in 2012. He was grateful that he was diagnosed, because it's 1 in 4 men, black men, will get prostate cancer, and it saved his life having an early PSA test, and it's been his goal to make sure every man gets prostate cancer blood test. In fact, he was given an MBE in, I think it was 2018, for his work in promoting the PSA test to black men in the community. So next one, please. Right, when you should have a PSA test, ideally typically when over 50. This is the normal time when things start to go awry down below. The other one is ethnic background. If you're Afro-Caribbean, you're 1 in 4 likely to get prostate cancer, and we recommend that you get tested after the age of 45, not at 50. Family history, again, if your father, your uncle, your brother, they have prostate cancer, you're 2.5 times more likely to get prostate cancer. So again, get tested early, ideally from the age of 45, but even before, if you know of this family history. The other one, with all cancers, overweight or obesity is a contributing factor to this cancer. Signs or symptoms, yes. If you have an urgency to go to pass urine, a weak flow and frequency, then again, do get a PSA test. The baseline test, it will predict the future risk. I believe you should have this test done every year, and you should note the numbers. What we talk about is it's okay, it will go up, but it's the velocity. If there's a big spike in it, you definitely need to get tested, further investigation from your urologist. Thank you. So if you decide to have this test, ask your GP. You must have a conversation with your GP because a lot of GPs are reticent to give this blood test because there's too many false positives and false negatives. So you've got to talk to your GP and explain why you think you should have a PSA test. Don't be fobbed off. If you think you need one, definitely, insist. If you're over 50, you're legally entitled to a PSA test. This is a nice edict, which is National Institute of Clinical Excellence. So this is what the medical profession use as a reference. Don't treat it as a one-off. As I said, you should have one at least once a year. Ask and make a note of the score. As I said, it will go up naturally, but you've got to watch for the spikes. If there's a spike, so then you need to talk to your GP and say, I need another PSA test just to see if it was just a one-off blip in it. We also deal with a trust, a charity called the Graham Fulford Trust, and they will provide PSA tests by mail. So similar to the bowel cancer test, there's a test by mail, which is a simple blood test. But we work quite closely with Graham Fulford Trust in a lot of locations where they provide the on-site phlebotomist to take the blood. So thank you for listening. Please spread the word, because awareness equals early diagnosis equals survival. And the other thing I always say, ignoring prostate cancer won't cure it. So thank you very much for listening. If there's any questions you need to ask, please get in touch with Hannah. She has my email address. I'm always happy to answer any questions. I'm not a clinician.
Thank you so much, Richard. We did have 2 videos in that presentation, which we will share out. So you won't have missed them. That's what that black square was. But thank you so much, Richard.
Okay. Yeah.
And thank you for helping us spread awareness about prostate cancer.
Well, I'm sorry it didn't go quite to plan.
Oh, it's technology. It happens.
I know. Well, I'm doing
If I turn the clock back, would I have dealt with it differently? Yes, I would. But I didn't know anything.
Now he's been given a second lease of life, Errol is dedicated to spreading the word about prostate cancer in the hope that he can save lives.
I preach every day. I tell the male customers when they come in, I said, listen, go and get your prostate checked. If you come back and show me that you've had it checked, I will give you a 20% discount on the repairs of your car. You need to go and get yourselves checked once a year. Treat it as if it's an MOT on your body.